Hello! Our topic today is past tenses making up a story. И мы с вами узнаем, как использовать грамматические времена прошедшие для того, чтобы рассказать историю из своей жизни или какую-то выдуманную историю о прошлом. And our plan is, first we are going to speak about functions of past tenses, then we are going to speak about past habits with structures used to and would. But first we are going to revise all the structures of past tenses. So the first past tense is past simple, and in past simple positive we just use the second form of the verb. So I work, I worked. In negative sentences we use didn't plus the first form of the verb. So I didn't work, I didn't swim. In the questions we put did on the first place. So did you work? Did you swim? In the answers, yes, somebody did. No, somebody didn't. So yes, I did. No, I didn't. Past continuous forms, we use was and were plus a gerund. We use was with a singular noun or a pronoun and were with a plural noun or a pronoun. So I was working, they were swimming. And in negative questions we will add not. So wasn't, weren't plus gerund. I wasn't working, they weren't swimming. In the questions we will put was on the first place. So was he working? Were you swimming? And in the answers, yes, somebody was or were, and no, somebody wasn't or weren't. For example, yes, he was, yes, I was, no, I wasn't, yes, they were, no, we weren't. Next tense is past perfect, and here we use had plus the third form of the verb. For example, I had worked, I had swum. In negative we will add not, so had not plus the third form. I hadn't worked, I hadn't swum. In questions we will put had on the first place. So had you worked, had you swum? And in the answers, yes, somebody had, no, somebody hadn't. So yes, I had, no, I hadn't. In past perfect continuous we use had plus been plus a gerund. So I had been working, they had been swimming. In negative, hadn't plus been plus a gerund. I hadn't been working, they hadn't been swimming. In the questions we will put had on the first place. So had he been working? Had you been swimming? And in the short answers we use yes, somebody had, no, somebody hadn't. So yes, he had, no, he hadn't. And now, when do we use past simple? We use past simple to speak about single actions in the past, and we know the time when this action happened. For example, she went to the gym yesterday. We also use it to speak about repeated actions in the past. For example, we often traveled to London in the childhood. One more function is actions in the past going one by one. So she first woke up, then got dressed and left the house. So this is a sequence of actions. Which words show us that we should use past simple? These are such words as yesterday, yesterday morning, yesterday evening, last night, last week, last month, last year, and so on. 2 weeks ago, or a month ago, or in 1988, for example. Next tense is past continuous. And when do we use this tense? First of all, we use it when we speak about an action happening at a definite moment in the past. For example, yesterday at 7 p.m. we were having dinner. So yesterday at 7 p.m. it's a moment in the past. A long action in the past which was interrupted by a short action. So we were having dinner when he called. So we were having dinner, it's a long action. He called, it's a short action. Then two or more long actions in the past happening at the same time. So we were having dinner and the kids were playing. So we see here two long actions in the past. And the words which show us that we should use this tense are while, all day or all night, when, and this is actually that's it. And now let's look at the difference of these two tenses, past simple and past continuous. So past simple, we use it to speak about a short action at a definite time in the past. Past continuous is used to speak about an action in process at a definite time in the past. Yes, for example, I worked yesterday. I was working yesterday at 7 p.m. So yesterday at 7 p.m. I was in the process of working. Past simple actions that happened one by one. Past continuous, simultaneous long actions. So two long actions that go at the same that were going at the same time. Past simple, we use it to speak about a short action that interrupted a long action, and past continuous is used to speak about a long action that was interrupted by an action in past simple. Yes, for example, we were having dinner. Yes, my friend called. Now let's look at the examples. So, he was jogging in the park yesterday afternoon. So, yesterday afternoon, this is a definite moment in the past. That's why we use past continuous here. He lost his keys yesterday afternoon. Lost, it's a short action, a single short action in the past. That's why past simple. As John was driving to work, his car broke down. John was driving. This is a long action in the past. And car broke down. This is a short action that interrupted the first long action. Next, she was reading and he was listening to music. We see here two simultaneous long actions. То есть два одновременно протекающих процесса в прошлом. And he closed the door and left the house. These are actions going one by one. That's why past simple in both parts of this sentence. And let's see if we were right or not. An action in process at definite time. A short action is definite time. Yep. A long action interrupted by a short action. Simultaneous long actions. And actions that happened one by one. Next tense is past perfect and its functions. An action before another action. So I had fallen asleep before you returned home. So first I had fallen asleep, then he returned. A result of an action in the past. So he had shaved his beard and looked very nice. So he had shaved the beard before, and the result is that he looked very nice. Now, the words that show us that we should use this tense are before, already, just, till or until, and by the time. Next tense is past perfect continuous. We use it to speak about a long action before another action in the past. For example, I had been living in the city for 10 years before I moved to the countryside. So I had been living, this is a long action, and we know that it had been going for 10 years. Another one is a long action which led to some results in the past. For example, I had been cleaning the house all day, so I felt tired. Now the markers. We can use before with this tense, for, since, till or until, how long, and by the time. And now, кроме того, что мы с вами можем использовать в наших историях прошедшие времена, мы можем также говорить о том, что что-то происходило в прошлом, но больше это не происходит. То есть у нас была какая-то привычка в прошлом, past habit, и больше ее нет. Как же мы можем это описать? For this we can use used to plus the first form of the verb or would plus the first form of the verb. And now let's look at the difference of used to and would. Both of these structures can be used to speak about repeated actions in the past. For example, I used to play tennis twice a week when I was a child. То есть, когда я был маленьким, я играл в теннис 2 раза в неделю, а сейчас я больше это не делаю. И вот чтобы сакцентировать наше внимание на том, что сейчас этого больше не происходит, мы используем эту структуру used to. Or we can say, I would play tennis twice a week when I was a child. And what is different between these two structures is that we can use used to speak about facts in the past that are no longer true. For example, I used to work as a waiter, but we cannot say I would work as a waiter. Если мы говорим с точки зрения грамматики, то структура used to может использоваться с глаголами действия, например, go, work, и с глаголами состояния, например, be, think и так далее. Точнее, не think, я извиняюсь, love, be, love, have. Что касается would, он может использоваться, эта структура может использоваться только с глаголами действия. So go, work, swim and so on. Итак, сегодня мы с вами узнали времена и структуры, которые мы можем использовать для того, чтобы рассказывать какую-то историю из прошлого. So, see you next lesson.